Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Four Roads Out of Warba podcast with the 26th episode featuring the Warba Shop Quartet. This week is starring Doodoo, Bob, Bort,
Howdy.
and I'm your host this week, Tippy Tater Alligator. And this week we are counting down our top 8 favorite albums of all time. And let's just start with this week. How's everybody doing? Bob?
I'm doing phenomenal. I actually got my water all working. I'm just going to go take a very long shower after I get done with this podcast. Not because I smell, but because I can. So. Yes, so that's about all I got going on.
How would you describe the smell for our fan base?
Well, right, I smell great. I just took a shower last night before I went to bed. So I had hint of vanilla with side of manliness, I think.
Okay.
So.
Well played. You kind of set it up for something that sounds pretty funky, but the vanilla and manliness, I can live with that.
Good.
Doodoo, how are we doing?
I am doing okay. I got a little bit of a screwed up week here. I was supposed to have a overnight test at the clinic tonight, and I wasn't going to be on the podcast. I was going to jump on, and since you guys are ranking albums, I have written an album, and I wanted to jump on here and tell you guys about it to see maybe if my album would make it on your list. And then I was going to jump off because my test was supposed to start here in 20 minutes. But the tech is sick and they canceled the test, so I'm still going to tell you about my album, but I'll be otherwise I don't have a list together, but I will be going off my memory. So yes, my album, it is a country music cheating album. Basically put myself in a position where I was a guy with a wife, and the title of the album I kind of stole from another comedian, but I don't think he'll mind. The title of the album is "I Can't Get Over You Until You Get Out From Under Him." Some of the songs on there, I'll just go over a couple highlighted ones. I actually got into contact with Danny DeVito's people, and they allowed me to make a duet with them, and that duet is titled "I Married a Whore." Another one of the songs on there is "My Wife Is Open for Business More Than Our Local Walmart." That'll be a good hit. One, it's kind of a tearjerker, really sad one. I was in a bad place here. It's the title is "I Know We Look Different, Jimmy, but You're Still My Son." And then probably the last highlighted song here would be, it's a gospel song. The title of it is called "My Wife Should Have Listened Better in Church." Really pretty song. Good title there. And then at the very last track of the album is a poem, because I would write her poems and she would like them and stuff. So the very last track is me writing my last poem that I wrote to her. It's called the poem goes as Roses are red, violets are blue. My wife, she has found someone new to screw. Her dimples are cute. Her clothes are always neat. Too bad she turned into a dirty cheat. So yeah, so that's my album.
Now I gotta find a room on my list for that one.
So yeah, that's my album. I don't know if it'll make it on your list, but yeah. So now is the part where I was going to say goodbye and head off to my appointment, but instead you're stuck with me. So thank you.
What was that one song? I'm sorry, you're still my son.
I know we look different, Jimmy, but you're still my son.
It does kind of sound like a concept album, but maybe is there like a Japanese bonus track that has something about the dog in there?
Well, like the dirty whore is taking my dog. That could be, something like that.
And you love that dog.
Oh, I did. I did. Yeah, keeping my
I
pick.
love dogs, so it's lucky that's the only thing you didn't screw.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So, thank you.
Beautiful.
Indeed. Bort,
Hi.
how was your week?
Oh, good. Just been busy. Did some deep cleaning of the house over the weekend. Cleaned the refrigerator. That was great. And played a lot of video games. Been playing through The Witcher 3 again. And I've been enjoying that quite thoroughly. It's been I got the Steam Deck, and I've been using that game to test out the PS5 streaming to it, and it works really well.
Works good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Did that Batman Arkham Asylum end up working okay? Or was there a lot of stuff you had to mess with?
Yeah, now that I've gotten it working, it works fine. It works,
Okay.
Plays just like normal. It was just a bugger to get working. It's crashed 2 or 3 times while playing. So again, it's a little computer, so those things happen.
Is your hand like still sore from playing it?
No. My thumb got used to the different position, and it worked out.
Okay.
That's what my cheating wife said. Sorry.
That's that Japanese bonus track.
Yeah. I watched a bunch of them Danny DeVito things so I could figure out how he said that word. Just that's
As Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, I got the reference. It was well played, Dudu.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember running up and down from Dad's place to Rapids, and we had a compilation track of him saying that.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been a fun trip.
It was. He says it so humorously.
Nice. Alrighty, folks. Well, if we want to start counting down our lists here, let's see. I would actually like to start with Bob, since he's had to whittle his list down by almost 50% at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
it's been tough. So mine aren't in any order. Are we gonna do honorable mentions at the right before number 1?
oh yeah, absolutely. You can.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So I'll just start with my first one. Falconer. Oh, go ahead.
Can you get any more comfortable, or do you want another pillow, or?
So I can't sit anywhere in my house because it's occupied by everybody, and my hip is really messed up right now, so I can't sit cross-legged too much, or it really starts bothering me. So this is literally the only place I can really sit without standing.
Okay.
So otherwise I'd be like this.
Okay.
So,
All right.
You do own a house that's 10 times as big as the one you're sitting in right now, right?
yeah, and there's nowhere to sit in that place either.
All All right,
So I own 2 houses and no chairs.
Do you chalk your hip up to old wrestling injuries?
It started with work, but probably a wrestling injury too.
You don't work.
Not anymore. I heard it at work. I used to work. I used to actually be good at my job and everything. So just ask Andrew. He rode with me a bunch.
Oh, we had some good times. Sorry to interrupt you. Go on with your list.
All right. So my first one is 2001, the band's Falconer, and it's their original or their debut album, Falconer. Not a lot of people know of the band. Tippy got me introduced to them with the power metal type of music, and that's just a really solid album. It's one of those albums you just put on and listen to, and I can go from the first track all the way through to the end and just love every minute of it.
Cool. Heck yeah, that is a good album. I still have that on the shelf myself, but it did not make my top 8, but I am glad you mentioned it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Fort, what do you have for number 8?
Number 8 is, I'm not even a fan of them or their music. I think they're the most overrated band of all time. But that being said, I think it deserves a place on the list because of how many top songs it had on it over the years, even if they're all pretty much overrated. And that's the Beatles. One that has like their 20 or 27 different number 1 hits on one CD. It came out, I think, in 99 or 2000. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of them. I think they're horribly overrated and pretty. I mean, there's so many more bands that do more musically interesting things nowadays. But yeah, it's just, great hits albums can be very good for that reason. So I'll put them on there.
Cool. Doo-Doo, do you have an album off the top of your head you'd like to throw out?
Yeah, I do. It's I've talked about him before on some of our other music podcasts. Junior Brown. He's the guy with the weird country cowboy hat that plays a git steel. It's a steel guitar on top, and then there's a electric guitar underneath it. In 1993, he came out with an album. It's called Get With It, and it's spelled G-U-I-T with it. And just some good old crazy country music songs. A lot of upbeat stuff, some blues stuff, good stuff. I remember playing. I had an X-Men video game in the Sega, maybe?
Sega Genesis, yes.
Yeah, and I remember playing that and listening to this album and getting mad because it was a level game and I could never get past. But yeah, so yeah, thank you.
That was a hard game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I believe you mentioned Junior Brown on your or when we did the mixtape episode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him in Duluth in concert, and then I saw him down at First Ave in Minneapolis, and he's just amazing guitar player.
Cool. Nice. Well, I will go next with my number 8 pick. It is by the band Nightwish, Wishmaster from 2000. Now, this is the third album by Nightwish and the first one that I heard. And the first song I heard was on I believe it was like a Century Media sampler disc. And back in those days, didn't really have high-speed internet, and a lot of the ways I would find out new bands was from going to record stores, and they'd have like sampler discs for like $4 or $5, from a specific record company like Century Media or Metal Blade or Nuclear Blast, and that's how we would find a lot of those bands like Falconeer. That's how I found them, was from a Metal Blade disc. And yeah, this album, I'm a pretty big fan of Nightwish, most of their albums, and this was back when they were still kind of just like a basic 5-piece band. They really hadn't gotten into their really big epic stuff yet, and they still a lot of they sounded like a traditional heavy metal band, but with the symphonic keyboards and operatic vocals, and I instantly latched onto it, and specifically the song Kinslayer. But I mean, this album is just chock full of good songs like She Is My Sin, Kinslayer, Come Cover Me, Wanderlust, Wishmaster, Crownless, Phantasmic. So yeah.
Nice.
And what was the album called again?
Wishmaster.
Okay, I'm writing all these down so I can listen to all of them.
I'm sure some of these will be up your alley, Bob. Okie dokie. So let's move on to number 7. Let's go with Doo-Doo. Do you have another one?
Yeah, off the top of my head, driving truck, being tired, having to get places. Mad because there was a bed 4 feet behind me all the time and I couldn't sleep in it because I had to go. But the Black Album. I always got into Metallica, the Black Album, just when I needed to drive and just do it. I had to throw that on and crank it and just go. So that's a memorable album for me.
Awesome. It's definitely a classic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Bort, what do you got next?
This album I heard for the first time back in early August when I was in Indiana with Tippy Tater Alligator running the Tough Smudder, and we were driving around, and he put on this album by the band Blind Guardian called At the End of Time. And yeah, I have a few of those songs on there I have been listening to nonstop for the past 6 months. I think I'm looking at my playlists or my plays for all these songs here and on my playlists, and yeah, I got both versions of Sacred Worlds on there, or my number 5 and 6 played songs, and oh, what's the other one? Wheel of Time in particular is the other one that I'm really hooked on. That's way up in like my top 15 songs that I've ever played. So I've listened to quite a few of those songs quite a bit. Very good album, and I'm very thankful that you just randomly played that album.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you are very welcome, good sir.
I wouldn't hold your breath for a new album anytime soon. I don't think Blind Guardian wants anything to do with John Schaefer right now.
What does Blind Guardian have to do with John Schaefer?
Well, the I was thinking of
Demons and Wizards.
So. Yeah, I was thinking of Demons and Wizards. So
okay.
Never mind. That joke is gone.
What about I just saw that guy Iced Earth. I saw that he was like one of the first people ever arrested and charged with the January 6th rioting.
That's what I was saying is, yeah, he got...
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, he got way tied up, and he was in a band with the guy from Blind Guardian, Demons and Wizards, and they split up from him pretty quick right after that. All Iced Earth left him, like, nope, we want nothing to do with that guy.
Oh, yeah, they just... everybody just jumped ship.
Wasn't he like the main guy for Iced Earth, though?
Yeah, he's the main songwriter. He was the main... Well, I don't know what he did with Demons and Wizard. If he was a main songwriter, I don't know what the vocalist did. But...
Well, Demons and Wizards was a collaboration between John and Hansi.
Hansi, that's his name. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah, cool. That's out of their 2000s efforts, I think. Yeah, At the Edge of Time is definitely Blind Guardian's best effort, which is when people ask for album recommendations, I usually like to share that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was Bob, what do you got next?
Next, I have 2004's Shadows Fall, War Within. This is a lot heavier metal. What would you call this, Tippy? What kind of metal is this one?
You can lump them in with the metalcore bands of the time.
Oh, yep.
Kind of like the kind of Euro style guitar riffs, but with the breakdowns of hardcore, which kind of would lump them into that metalcore scene. You know, especially since they're from Massachusetts, being associated with bands like Killswitch Engage and everything like that. So
yeah, very heavy, very just aggressive. Does have a lot of the growling vocals, which some people don't like, but he does have some actual, not as much singing on that album, but it just, the whole album, it was kind of my again, you told me about that, Tippy, about them. And that was my first introduction to that type of good, like really aggressive metal, and I really listened to that album a lot. And it's one of those, every track, I just love every track of it.
Heck yeah. Sounds awesome.
Nice.
All right. My number 7 pick will be 1984's Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. Now, if Black Sabbath invented heavy metal, Judas Priest was the band that perfected it. Once I, kind of started getting into heavy metal around like when I was like 15, 16, Judas Priest was one of the first bands that I latched onto. And I immediately started buying all their albums. And Priest is, they were a band that they were kind of like treading the lines of like really heavy, but also they could be like commercial and radio friendly at the same time. But at this point in their career, they were about 10 or 11 years into releasing records. And this is, I mean, they've had some pretty good albums up to this point, but I think this is peak 80s Judas Priest with songs like Free Will Burning, Jawbreaker, Ride Hard, Ride Free, or Rock Hard, Ride Free, The Sentinel, which is probably in my top 3 favorite songs of all time, Eat Me Alive, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. It's not a totally perfect album, but this totally encapsulates 1980s Judas Priest, I believe. So
nice.
Would be my number 7. Okay. Let's move on to number 6 now. Bort, what do you have?
Well, I know you guys are expecting some Nightwish out of me, so here's Nightwish right away. One of the first albums of theirs, well, the second album that I really got into, Dark Passion Play from, let's see, you guys are listing the years, I believe that was 2007. And I can say just like right away, the very first song, The Poet and the Pendulum, is one of the greatest songs ever written. And it just starts the album off so well. And then it goes just through just a bunch of great songs all throughout the album. With my favorite singer from the group that everybody else all hates, but I think she's fantastic. So, yeah, very, very good album. 2009. I'm sorry, I was wrong. So.
Gotcha. No, Annette was a good singer in her own right. The existing fans really didn't latch on to her, I don't think, because of the different vocal style. But at the same time, she's a great singer. I believe.
Is it a very noticeable difference in style?
Yes, it's more of a poppy kind of vocal style compared to the operatic style that the previous singer Tarja had.
So how does the current singer then do with like the old songs, singing the old opera style songs? Does she try to emulate that, or does she do her own style of singing?
No, she has her own style of singing, but she kind of treads the line between the two. Like she kind of goes back and forth between both. Wouldn't you say? Boy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the current one's my least favorite of all the singers they've had. I can't remember her name offhand, but
Floor Jensen.
Yeah, But yeah, I think they all do good. I think she does about as well as you can, shifting between her heavy metal style and the Tarja's operatic style and everything in between. She does a good job. I think all of them did. And I mean, Annette did a good job jumping back into the older songs too, I thought, when she had the opportunity. So
See, I get excited when I hear like a band's coming in there having a different famous type of guitars playing with them, or a different vocalist, because then it makes a song so different, because you get that artist interpretation of that material too. Like Iced Earth, when they got rid of Matt Barlow and Tim Owens came and sang, his live stuff was so different sounding because they have such different voices, but he put his unique spin on them.
Or when Tim Owens went to Judas Priest after.
Yep.
Tim Owens pretty much replaces everybody in he sang for about 100 different bands after.
I know.
I noticed that Dudu did not laugh at that joke.
No, I'm looking at the internet trying to figure out my list.
Okay.
All right.
What?
You didn't find that joke about the Tim Owens funny?
Tim Owens. Who's Tim Owens? He a football guy?
Sure, there's a football player named Tim Owens somewhere.
Probably.
Okie doke. Let's see. Well, while Dudu searches, Bob, why don't you go ahead with your number 6?
All right, my next one, 1999, 6 Feet Under, Maximum Violence. I'm not a huge death metal guy, just because a lot of it, especially the like Cannibal Corpse, I love the idea of it, but just listening to it a lot, I can't go with the aggressive vocals with the really fast drums and really fast guitar. When it goes through the whole song like that, it kind of gets blendish to me. 6 Feet Under, what I like about them as a death metal band is they have a really good groovy sound. They really, to me, they really seem to put the music first, so they can actually get a good song where somebody can actually listen to it and enjoy the actual notes of the song. And that's what I've always liked about 6 Feet Under. So all their albums are really good, but Maximum Violence, it just has a lot of good classic songs on there.
Yep. If I had to pick a favorite 6 Feet Under album, it might be that one, I would think. Not only because it was the first one I had, but I actually do have most of their albums. But have you heard any of their new stuff?
Yeah. Ever since they got rid of their... I forget who their guitarist was, but they had that. They got rid of their guitarist like 3 or 4 albums ago, who wrote most of their stuff, and you can tell the difference. The music is not half as good as it used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Chris Barnes' voice is kind of, well, it's been going downhill for a few years, and listen to the last few albums. It sounds like he's like wasted and trying to swallow the microphone. I know it's not the greatest, but Maximum Violence, I would say that's a good old school style death metal album indeed.
Well, thank you for that.
So I think I will go next with 2010's Ashen Eidolon by Gallowbraid. Now, this album here, it only had, well, the original release, it's a full-length album, but only has 4 songs on it, and 2 of those songs are just short acoustic instrumentals. Just the first song alone is like 15 minutes long. But how to describe the sound of this album? It's kind of a combination of black metal, especially with the main vocal style. And then it also combines elements of like traditional metal, folk music. It adds keyboards, acoustic guitars, and it does have that kind of low fidelity black metal production that goes along with it too, which gives it a bit more of an atmospheric type of feel. And then also has a bit of female vocals in there too for a little bit of more ambiance and just well, this is a reissue, the one, so it does have an extra bonus track, but yeah, I mean,
Wow, 5 tracks?
yeah, that album art is just so.
I know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think I see somebody up there waving at us. I think in the trees there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go meet him, but
Right.
but then
What's
you also
the-
heard that too. I mean, that looks really
Whoa.
sweet too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very
What was the name of the album?
Ashen Eidolon. You can
Okay.
a gallery.
I like
what year
that.
did it come out?
I like that style of calligraphy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 2010.
Okay.
Came out.
More questions.
Yep.
Is that their only album?
It's our only album. They have like one single too. But
Do they have Danny DeVito on it?
Nah, I don't think they're able to spring the cash for that.
Okay. All right.
Isn't it crazy though how there are a couple bands that I've discovered just out of a playlist or something on Spotify that you're like, that song's awesome. You go back, you listen to the whole album, you're like, this is a really good album. And then you realize this is the only album they've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this one, it's one of your favorite albums ever, and they've only done 5 songs. It's just insane.
But at the same time, the main guy in the band, Jake Rogers, he has so many different music projects.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got another one called Kaladin Brood. They only got one album.
Mm-hmm.
His main band right now is Visigoth. And they've got 2 albums, I think, and a few singles and a few EPs. But that's more of in a traditional heavy metal style, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, indeed. Dudu, did you come up with one?
I do. There's a couple albums by Volbeat that I could put on and just let run because I like all the songs on them. This one happens to be known as my Thanksgiving washing dishes with Bob album. It's called Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies. We got stuck doing dishes, so we put this album on and just rocked out to washing ladles and stuff. But there's good songs on here like Pearl Heart and The Sinner's You and Doc Holliday and just good music. Just put it on and let it go.
Lola Montez.
Yeah, so I had the same. That was one of mine. I took off was Outlaw Gentlemen, Shady Ladies because I'm like I love so much Volbeat stuff. I'm like I'm not going to even bother putting any on my list. But that would have been the one I would have put on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got the other one ready to roll if you want. If you want me to go next on the next one.
Yep, we'll start off with our number 5 then with Dudu.
The other one is Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood. Mary Ann's Place, I think, is one of the best albums they did. Still counting. Yeah, Hallelujah Goat. Yeah, just good listening stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to listen to Volbeat.
I know. I just want to do it.
Yeah, me and him went down to La Crosse, Wisconsin for a concert there. It was on the tour for the Outlaw Gentlemen Shady Lady tour. And man, we cranked music the whole way down there. Such a good concert. Then the way back to, so fun.
Trivium opened up for him, and that was my first experience with them.
Trivium, yep.
It was good. Very good.
That would have been a very good show.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked at us and
Well,
our section.
I was excited.
What year was that? Was that 2012 or 2013?
14.
Okay.
Yep, it was April. think April or something like that of 2014. But I was excited because Trivium was with them, and usually if they have a death metal group or whatever kind of power metal group with growly vocals, they will play Evelith, their song, and it's a more of a death metal song. They'll have that vocalist do it with them. And they didn't do it on our show, but like 4 or 5 shows after, then Trivium started doing it with them. I'm like,
Nice. All right, want to go to Bort next. What do you have for your number 5?
Mine's the first ever hard rock album I got into, and also the first ever symphonic metal album I got into, and that was Metallica's S&M. I got that in November of, I believe, 1999. And I just, I remember I was actually in my high school's carolers, and we had driven around all day caroling at different locations, and we actually ended up in a Target, caroling inside a Target. I can't even imagine that happening nowadays.
Is it the one you worked at?
Yeah, the one I worked at. And I was there, and I saw that album sitting there. I knew next to nothing about Metallica, and but I knew Bob had been wanting that album horribly. And so I went and bought the album as we walked out. He'd been waiting to get to the album. I know I told this story back on episode number 1, but he had been waiting until Christmas to get that album. And he had told our overly religious 72-year-old grandmother to get Metallica's S&M for him for Christmas. And I just, to this day, I just can't even imagine the sight of little old grandma going into Target and probably asking the worker at the electronics table for S&M.
Where's your S&M section?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. But Bob was so mad at me that I got the album before him, and he was so mad. And so all throughout December, I was listening to that album, and I was playing through Final Fantasy V as the remaster had come out on PlayStation.
Well, what I liked about the DVD of S&M too is they had it where you could turn the orchestra off. So my buddy, this is when computers are still not super new or not super available. He had a CD burner on there, and he was able to burn the S&M without the orchestra on the CD for me, and it was really cool because you actually hear No Leaf Clover and Minus Human without the orchestra. It just because we never got an album version of those songs, so I always liked that. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of something similar to that, I just got an update on my iPhone today, and it updated Apple Music now so that there's a way you can turn off vocals on songs and just listen to it without the vocals now.
Do they have it where you can change the pitch?
I don't think so.
I want that really bad because I love listening to the different pitches of songs, but you got to buy the CD to do it because you can't do because it's like the digital.
Yeah, I remember when you had that that contraption in one of your cars that had your stereo system, and then it went out to your pitch changer.
Yep. Now I have one on my phone, but I have to own the actual. I have to buy the album to get the rights to be able to do that. You can't do it on something like Spotify where you're just kind of borrowing the song because they had licensure for it, so I can't do it that way. And it's kind of
your troubles.
It's almost as bad as that upper right corner of my old TV.
Ooh.
Anyway, sidetrack. Sorry.
All right. Well, why don't you continue talking, Bob? Give us your number 5.
No, please.
Great job talking there, Jason. Bob,
you're already warmed up.
Yes. 2001 System of Down Toxicity. This was just the album came out right, kind of hit perfectly with what kind of music I liked at that time, more the new metal type stuff. And I just like the music on it, I like the vocals. And it's a pretty simple album. So yeah, it's just one of those albums I put on to listen. I just listened to it last week. The songs are very interesting. They're catchy, and it was actually they were co-headlining Ozfest that year. Me and Tippy went to it one year, so we got to see him live during that tour too. So I think that kind of part of the reason I like that album too, was just that nostalgia effect of that concert.
Did they ever get back together at all for any reunion shows or anything like that?
I stopped listening to them after I think they released Mesmerize and Hypnotize, those dual albums. I didn't even buy those. I didn't at that point. They got too political for me. I don't know what happened after.
Yeah, they broke up like right after that. I remember seeing them at concert at the Target Center, and they literally broke up like a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah, I don't. They were so political, and I'm like, everybody can have their opinion. That's fine, but my music, I just want to listen to the music.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Back at that time, yeah, Toxicity would have probably been one of my favorite albums, along with Steal This Album, which I released not too long after that. But then my musical taste started shifting in a little bit different directions. Looking back, yeah, that was and still is a really good album. In fact, I did the song "Bounce" as a guitar cover for one of the songs on my guitar channel. So,
what's your channel?
Mustard Metal Tracks.
Check them out. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah, don't subscribe. I have too many subscribers already.
You know what's funny? My son
subscribers is Bob's kid.
My son has 220 on his, and he makes sure every time to tell me he has a lot more subscribers than we have on his channel.
Give him 2 weeks, he'll have more subscribers than I do.
No, you have a couple, like 1,000, don't you?
Oh, no. I haven't even checked in a long time, but I haven't produced a lot of content in like the last year and a half, but it's well over 300 now. But and most of my videos only have like a couple hundred views probably, but there are the ones that really blew up. Like I think the Hulk Hogan All-American one has like 35,000 at this point, but
323 subscribers.
There you go.
What is I've just heard of said Andrew's channel. What I didn't know he had one. What is he?
I'll talk to you after. It's
all right.
It's a kid Roblox stuff. He loves doing it. He has fun doing it. He gets a lot of views. He has one where I think he's got maybe 8,000 views on it or something like that.
Oh, good for him.
Yep. No, he's really good at it too. Really good at editing, and
he can pay for all of our retirements.
Yes.
I still attest for Mustard Metal Tracks. It is the best Hulk Hogan's wrestling boot band cover artist on YouTube.
Ooh. And I think there is a song of me and you. Is that on your channel? The one that we wrote at my townhouse like 15 years ago?
Yes, it is.
Yep, it's right at the bottom of the list, or like, the oldest song on there.
Yeah, so if you want to hear a great original song, go listen to that.
Indeed. Okay, moving on. My fifth pick is 2011's Forever Abomination by Skeleton Witch.
Sounds lovely.
Oh, indeed. Yep. 11 songs. 11 songs.
I'm so excited to say that.
I think they must be a very happy band.
Oh, indeed. Happiest band you'll ever hear. 11 songs in 32 minutes.
Jeez.
Just absolute nonstop rip snorting from beginning to end. Although the first track does have an acoustic intro and outro, but it's played very fast too. But
it's not Misfits. Not like the Misfits, I'm assuming, right?
No, not really.
Yes,
But,
much faster than the Misfits.
Oh yeah, it's much faster. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to play up to speed with this band, but it's got a very good production quality. It's in the style that you'd call black and thrash, where it's kind of sounds like thrash music, but with like black metal style vocals.
Mhm.
And this album never ever gets boring, because the guitarists 90% of the time they're playing different parts, and it's especially interesting to listen to if you have headphones on, because the guitars are panned right and left, so you can hear them both going on at the same time. And the amount of riffs that you can pack into 32 minutes is absolutely mind-boggling.
Are they complex?
Their song structures aren't like a normal pop song where you go intro, verse, chorus, yada yada. They normally start at one point and end at another point, but it always holds your attention. It's always interesting. So,
Are the songs, like the guitar riffs, really complex and hard to play?
They aren't that. In the grand scheme of things, they're not that complex, but it sounds a lot more difficult than it actually is because of the two guitar parts going on at the same time. Like I did a cover of one of their songs off of this album called Of Ash and Torment. And like I didn't record two different parts. I like took my favorite parts from both guitar parts and kind of just smashed them together and played along with the track. So yep, out of all their albums, this is definitely my favorite one. So
awesome. After that one, I'll listen as well.
I think you'd like it, Bob.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that completes the first top half of the list, or first half of the list. Let's see here. Let's go back to Bob. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4, 2004, Damage Plan, their only self-titled album. And I think this was just, I listened to it so much right after their guitarist Dimebag Darrell got killed on stage. And he's the former guitar player Pantera too. And it was sad. I remember I called Tippy I heard it happen and told you about it.
I remember.
Both just crushed.
Oh.
And he was on stage playing at a concert in Ohio or something, and some crazy fan who was he was a mentally ill dude, thought he ended up like Pantera had stolen his lyrics or songs or something. So he broke in through the back and jumped on stage and shot and killed him on stage. And they shot like 4 other people too.
That happened to Abraham Lincoln too. Good.
Probably not when he was doing a guitar solo.
Oh,
It was like within like the first few seconds of the first song.
Yep.
Bum rush.
There's actually footage of it. I mean, it's grainy footage. They had a camera set up in the back of their stage because they like recorded all their stuff. But anyways, it hit me hard. It was a very depressing thing. A lot like the Owen Hart when he died during wrestling. You're so into something so tragic happens, you really kind of latch onto something. And I latched onto that, and I listened to it a lot. And you can just kind of hear that Dimebag Darrell had a lot of passion in the album that he made. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's just a good listen. I enjoy it, and I think everybody here would as well.
Indeed. That's another one I got on the shelf downstairs.
Yeah. Well, I heard they had enough like leftover riffs that they were thinking about making a second album of just kind of used riffs, but they ended up not doing that. I guess out of respect for them.
Yep. Indeed. Okay. Let's see. Doo-doo, did you come up with another one?
I do. 1966. The beloved man Johnny Cash came out with an album. It's kind of a joke parody album It's called Everybody Loves a Nut. Funny. Guaranteed to kind of make you, well, it will make you smile. A lot of good songs like, well, Everybody Likes a Nut, or Everybody Loves a Nut. The one on the right is on the one on the right is on the left. Dirty Old Egg Sucking Dog. Boa Constrictor. Just some funny stuff. So check it out. You'll feel happy afterwards.
I think you mentioned Dirty Old Egg Sucking Dog on the mixtape. So,
Yep.
right?
It's a yeah. I love dogs, but it's good.
Well, glad you clarified that.
It's a good. The guy's dog gets into the chicken coop and kills its chickens, and gets mad at him and calls him a dirty old egg sucking dog. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks. All right, Bort, what do you got next?
I'll put my other Nightwish album, Imaginarium, on there from 2011. It was 2013 that I first really discovered them. I heard their song Phantom of the Opera, the live version on YouTube, and then that caused me to check them out on whatever music service, and it was their latest album, so that was the one I checked out and spent a lot of time listening to. Storytime is just a really fun song. You know, I kind of, if people aren't sure what kind of music I'm into, I kind of give them that song because it kind of does a good job of explaining it. And Ghost River was my favorite song from that album. That's very, very good.
Nice.
Hey, you guys keep talking about Nightwish, and I gotta give them another shot because I've tried and I just can't do it. So I'm kind of jotting some of your specific ideas down to hope I can get something to latch me onto them.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're knowing you, Bob, and I kind of know your tastes a bit, I would either start with either Wishmaster or Oceanborn.
Okay.
When they were back in their younger incarnation of the band.
Okay.
And kind of, if you get into those, then I would kind of move on from there because eventually they started, their sound started to get a lot bigger and more grandiose after that. But back when they started, it was just, more of a basic 5-piece band, and a lot of their orchestral stuff came from just the keyboard player alone. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I got Wishmaster written down here from yours. So.
Okay.
It's not like I recommended one right now.
Well, he was talking, so I was referencing what he was talking.
Well, yeah, but it was my suggestion.
Wishmaster? I have Imaginarium on the shelf too, but I mean, that came out a long time after I started to be a Nightwish fan. I'm trying to add context a little here.
Well, no, I mean, funny story too is when I heard about this band, I texted Tippy about it. Tippy, have you heard of this band Nightwish? She's like, oh yeah, about 20 years now.
I mean, there really is no right and wrong answer to what album to start listening to.
Yeah. Bob's taste in music is completely different than mine. You're 100% right that he should go to the old stuff. I'm just giving him a hard time because
I know
he's taking over my speaking time.
Well,
do you have anything else to add, Bort?
Bob sucks.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move on then. We're not going to get into a Nightwish fight on my watch. So
I'd be curious what a Nightwish fight would look like.
I'm sure there'd be a lot of the violins and oboes.
Bring a Nightwish to a gunfight. Oh, I missed.
Ooh, boom.
Bring a Nightwish to a gunfight. There we go.
Well, it'd be night, so you wouldn't be able to see anything.
Ah.
Sorry, damn.
Darkness.
Darkness, night. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Speaking of night, my fourth choice is.
Can't wait to hear this.
Super happy fun time.
Indeed, super having fun time with 1998's Nightfall in Middle Earth by Blind Guardian.
Oh, that looks so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, it is. It's a concept album based on J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion. Got some great artwork here with the first Dark Lord Morgoth. I think that's Sauron in the background, and you got Luthien dancing there, kind of mesmerizing Morgoth. And yeah,
Nice.
despite being, I mean, just one of my all-time favorite books. And this is Blind Guardian's sixth album at this point. Now they started off back in the '80s as more of a, I would call them like a melodic speed metal band. Like their first three albums are just complete rip snorters, just a million miles an hour the entire way through. Except on the third album, their song "Lord of the Rings" was more of a ballad style song. But then with their fourth album, which nearly made the list. In fact, I have it right here. This is also recommended listening, Somewhere Far Beyond. This is when they started getting into a little bit of the more grandiose style songwriting and started maturing a lot. And then, by the time this one came out, this is the first album I bought. And just took things to a completely different level with the band. And their next two releases after this one I didn't care for so much. And then about 10 years after they released this one, they released the aforementioned At the Edge of Time, which was on Bort's list. And highly recommended album by this band. So, as well as this would be an honorable mention, Somewhere Far Beyond. So, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so Doo-Doo, did you come up with another album?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. My taste in music is all over. As long as it ain't rap, I'll listen to it. Another one that I had when I was trucking, it was in 2004, according to Wikipedia here, they released a compilation album of Dean Martin's greatest songs. It's called Dino, the Essential Dean Martin, and it's 30 songs on it, all his biggest hits. Just good, relaxing, cruising music. So yeah, I could put that on and just let it play.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was always a Sinatra fan until I got a Dean Martin record, and man, I like Dean Martin now.
Yeah. Well, Dean Martin didn't beat his wife either, so.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on one second. I will be right there.
Yeah, so I like Dean Martin. How about you guys? Bort, you get into Dean Martin, any of that type of music?
Of course, I've heard of the Dean Martin, but I have not. I'm sure I've heard some of his music, but I wouldn't know any of it right off the top of my head or anything like that. I'd have to hear it to even recognize it. So.
Okay. All right. Tippy?
Hey, dude, you ever heard That Old Clock on the Wall? You ever heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's behind him.
Yeah, it's right. There it is, right there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's right. Tippy, you like Dean Martin or any of them old guys? The crew?
I have the exact same answer Bort has.
Okay.
They're like verbatim.
Correct. All right.
Okay. Where do I go next? Bob.
All right, me. I am going to go with 2002's Black Label Society, 1919 Eternal. I like Black Label Society. They have a Zach Wilde, great guitarist. This album is a great album, start to finish. It just, if you're gonna want to know what Black Label Society is about, just listen to that album. That's about all I really have to say about it.
Cool. See here. I think I'll go next with my number 3. It is Iced Earth, Alive in Athens. Now, I found out about this band from a what was called back in the day. It was self-labeled an anti-Metallica website, or maybe it was just a message board or something. It just surfing the net for heavy metal stuff and just came across it. And they're like, if you want a real metal band, look up Iced Earth. I'm like, okay, pull up Napster. And it was like right at the Napster controversy at the time in early 2000 or whatever. I mean, downloaded a couple songs. I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. So
Lars is coming for you.
What's that?
Lars is coming for you.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, it's not. Anyways, so yeah, why I got the live album is like back in the day when he had 33.6 KB internet. Like if I was interested in a band, I would get a live album because it usually has a like a good selection of their discography, you know, over the course of several albums, you know, so you can get a good taste of what the band is about. And I instantly latched onto this one because it's a completely different style than I'd heard at the time as a young metalhead, because the band is they're too thrashy to be power metal, and they're too power metal to be a thrash band. They're kind of like in this weird middle ground, you know, where they sound, but at the same time they're super melodic and super heavy at the same time. And and this kind of showcases the songs that were released on the first 5 albums, which I would consider the golden era of the band. And in a good live setting, great quality, great production, and every single song on this double album is a winner. So yep.
That's what you recommended for me too, and I got that, and then right after that I went and bought Glorious Burden.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Let's see here. Bort, what's your next pick?
This one rated as my top album for a long time, and that was by a band by the name of Hurt, and their album was called Volume 1. Came out, I believe, in 2006, and yeah, it was just a crazy good album, completely different than a lot of other hard rock albums that were out of the time, where there'd be times where it would just be the dude singing with just like very minimal music playing with it, and then it would just crank it up to, you know, in crazy levels after it, and just a bunch of very different, dark, serious, entertaining songs that really took you on a wide range of emotions throughout it. And it was great. And like I said, I said this on our mixtape episode, you know, each release of theirs got worse and worse, and by the 4th one they pretty much disbanded. And you know, it was just weird that their first album could be so good and then they just kind of fall off after that, you know.
So why do you think that is? Did their musical style just change, or their songwriting get lazy, or
I don't know if it was the song. The songwriting was what got a lot worse. A lot of that cool stuff from the first album was just replaced by generic hard rock music. So I don't know if it was the record label pushing them to be more mainstream or what. But yeah, it just, the second album's pretty good, but 3 and 4 aren't very good at all. And yeah, it's too bad because I really liked their first couple albums.
But you're saying that the ones after that really hurt to listen to?
Ah, that's the name of the band. I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Like example of the band I used to like before they got signed to a major label was AFI. Like none of their albums actually sound the same. At least like their first 5 or so when they were coming up, they kind of started off as like hardcore kind of melodic punk, and then kind of got a little bit gothy when they were still on an independent label. And then by the time they got mainstream, I just completely checked out. I'm like, this is absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Tippy, I was watching a wrestling pay-per-view last year, and CM Punk came out on one of the shows, and apparently he came out to a song by AFI called Miseria Cantare, the beginning. It was like an opening, like the first song from the album, and it was really a unique song for a wrestler's entrance music. And I was hooked on that song quite a bit, but I started listening to more of that album, and it, none of it stuck with me. Is there any of that stuff that from them that you think I would like, given my wacky taste in music? Or is it just a one-off song from them that I like?
I don't even know where that or what album that song is off of. Sing the Sorrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the album where I completely checked out. I absolutely hated that album when it came out.
Okay.
Besides that one part. That one part's really cool.
Yeah, that one part.
Anything before that, Black Sails at Sunset or The Art of Drowning is a good one. Okay.
The Art of Drowning. That sounds like another happy one.
Oh no, it's not a very happy album. It's kind of melancholic, but it still has their kind of hardcore roots at it too.
It's funny that Tippy loves all these dark, depressing, dreary albums when he was also totally, completely obsessed with Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, I still love Weird Al.
What was that?
I still love Weird Al, I still enjoy his stuff, Yeah. Okay. Speaking of different albums, I think I will start off the number 2 with wait. Bob, did you do your number 2 yet? Or your number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here. I will start off the number 2. This is the only album on my list that isn't a metal album, and that is Songbird by Barbra Streisand. And there's a little script here that says, "Sorry, I couldn't find a bird." So she's holding a puppy that she's about to sacrifice to whatever cruel gods she worships. And on the back, it has a picture of her and a bunch of dogs that she no doubt sacrificed as well.
Oh yeah, they're all buried in her.
I'm just kidding. This one's not on my list.
Like, I don't know what to say here. I'm so uncomfortable.
You don't know who like Dean Martin is, but you know who Barbra Streisand is. Okay.
His real album is Death Kit, The Abortioning.
Eating Aborted Fetuses, Volume 6.
Oh, goodness. I've been playing with that joke since yesterday.
Good.
Well, it landed.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right.
Unlike the bird.
Nope. I'd hate to think what happened to the bird.
The dog ate it. They're trying to fatten it up before it got sacrificed.
Possibly. I don't know what they did with the dog after they sacrificed it, but
Okay.
That's none of our business.
Sold it to the. No, never mind.
hopefully they picked up the dog's poop though. You know?
Yes.
They don't want to leave that lying around. You know, it's bad policy.
That's fine, but not the feces.
Right. Anyways, my actual number 2 album is Static Age by the Misfits. Now, this one was actually released in 1997, I believe, but it was recorded in 1978. But they really couldn't get any record labels to bite off of it. So they just end up releasing most of these songs on like singles or EPs throughout the years. And with the original incarnation of the band, they only actually really released 2 full-length albums. And I mean, take full length with the grain of salt, because I think Walk Among Us was only about 20 minutes long, with 13 songs. But anyways, it's and I think being 1970, I think even some of the members of this band had only been playing their instruments for about a year at the time, but it's still very good recording quality at the same time. And remember when I first got this, I just wanted to learn how to play all the songs on the guitar, which isn't too terribly difficult because it's pretty much just all power chords. And but I mean, the songs themselves, they're in a punk style, but they're not over the top. They're very melodic, but they do have a bit of grit and attitude at the same time, which one of the songs is even called Attitude. And it also boasts the greatest 2-note guitar solo of all time on one of the songs, which is We Are 38.
Yep.
And this is even before they got their skull and crossbones look, with the hair that hangs over their faces and the crazy guitars. And, it just shows the band in its infancy, just writing good basic songs. So mostly about horror movies and terrible stuff. So
Plug it in on the stairs. So
I remember, Tippy, at one point you talked about in your younger days that if you ever formed your own band, you wanted to name it 138, so you could open your concerts with that.
See, I
probably didn't even own an electric guitar at the time, but that's just the simplest song in the world. It's just an E, C, and a D, and then with the guitar solo is E, F, E, F, E, F, E, F, E, F, and then at the end you bend the F. It's just so ridiculously simple but effective.
Well, I remember,
it's a good song. I enjoy it.
Yeah, me and Tippy, we'd once in a while get together and play guitar, and we'd always do like Last Caress, and you were always solo for Last Caress, and you'd always play that during that.
Oh yeah, I wrote a little solo for Last Caress, mostly based on the
vocal melody.
the vocal phrasing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then add a little do at the end.
But back to the Misfits, so I actually like their stuff that they released in like the mid to later 90s too. I like that. It's obviously different than the earlier stuff, but it's still got a good punk vibe to it. Just a good rock one. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a bit more of a metal edge at that time. Yeah, when they reformed with Michael Graves as their singer and released the album American Psycho, that is a absolutely fantastic album, I think. Yeah.
Is that the guy, the gigantic guy, the like bass player or whatever, or the guitarist who's just a monster?
Oh, Doyle. He's the guitar player.
Okay.
But he didn't do any singing. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind it. Stupid.
All right. Well, why don't you go next, Bob, then?
All right. Next for me, 2011, the band Theocracy The album is As the World Bleeds. This showed me that Christian bands can be really, really, really good. Tippy, Wages of Sin. I believe you played that on your channel and got really into that song.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up Theocracy, and man, good band. Great singing, great song structure. It's a Christian band if you're into that. So I'd highly recommend it. Give her a listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good melodic metal, power metal style band. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Jace or Bort. Theocracy, Drown. Look at that song. That's a good one you might like.
I like their song Ghost Ship.
Yep.
That one I enjoy.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
Drown you would really like too, I think. It's a little heavier one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Bort, why don't you go up next?
Number 2 just came out this year. I talked about it a lot in my other one again, Visions of Atlantis, and their newest album, Pirates, which is a pirate-themed orchestrated power metal album. And it just works. Just a ton of really fun music with basically everything I like about my power metal in it. Really good singer. Just really fun songs. I mean, whenever I take a road trip, I put that album on, and my kids and I rock out to it. So,
what was the name of the album?
Pirates.
Okay.
By Visions of Atlantis.
Okay.
My favorite song on there is called Master the Hurricane.
Hey Tippy, what's your favorite song so that I can listen to that one? Sorry.
Nice. Do they incorporate some like the stereotypical pirate metal elements, like accordions and like folk instruments and stuff like that too?
No, not really.
Not really.
Just
Okay.
I guess the best way I could put it is just sometimes it feels like just a little bit during the album that it feels like you're watching Pirates of the Caribbean. They'll slip into that pirate themed
Shanties.
How the film like music, how
Yeah.
when they're sailing the ship and they get the pirate like music playing, they kind of slip into stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, it's weird. You can there's Viking metal, for example, and you can picture in your mind what Viking metal would sound like. Same thing with what pirate metal would sound like. You can just, yep, I know what that'll sound like.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very, very good album. I really, really like it. Very highly recommended.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. Doo-doo. For us.
Yeah, not a big fan of the band, but I like the album a lot. There's a lot of good songs. It's Dr. Feelgood album by Motley Crue. Dr. Feelgood's a good song, and Same Old Situation, good stuff. Kickstart My Heart, good bob in your head songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Motley Crue's got a lot of good guitar riffs.
Mm-hmm.
That album was like 1989 or 1989. You know what? And that wasn't that produced by Bob Rock?
Okay.
He produced their later stuff. I don't know if he did their earlier stuff.
Well,
I just know there was a guitar and a bass and some drums.
Look it up. I think Dr. Feelgood might have been produced by Bob Rock before he went on to his Metallica. It was before the Black Album. Yep. Because I think in the year and a half in the life of Metallica documentary, they're in Bob Rock's studio or whatever, and he was holding up the platinum disc and saying, "Here is the Matari crew." I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could be wrong.
I'm still looking. I'll go back from here.
Okay. Well, you're with that. Let's go to our number ones. Bob, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, so I left off any Volbeat, Metallica, or Megadeth just because I love all their stuff.
Mhm.
But one big honorable mention I had was 2002 Chevelle. Wonder What's Next. A group of my friends, they were a lot more into the Incubus, Chevelle, that sort of stuff. Bob Rock, yep. And I really got into that album because of them. And they also played at Ozfest 2002 as well. They opened the main stage.
Yep.
So that's just a good album. Yeah, it's completely a new metal, but that's where I was going to high school during that time. So that's one of those other really good albums there. But that's the only honorable mention one I really had.
Okay. Right on, right on. Yeah, I remember seeing them live with you at Ozfest there. Then they also opened for Disturbed when I'd seen them like about a year later.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And Taproot, I think, was with them too.
Taproot, yep. Yep, indeed. Yep, big rock show.
Oh yeah.
They have a lot of deep music.
Oh, humor.
Because yeah.
All right. Well, Bob, why don't you grace us with your number one?
All right, my number one. I mean, I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if my list is in order, but this is a big one. Dream Evil 2004, the Book of Heavy Metal. This is what really got me into power metal. Tippy, he would routinely burn me CDs and tapes and stuff like that of awesome songs. And he had like 4 or 5 songs from this album on there. And it opened me up to a whole new world of music. And I always go back to this one. You just get that special feeling when you put a song on, you hear the opening song, and it just puts you in a good spot when you listen to it. So this is a really important one to me. So thank you, Tippy.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. A lot of good musicians in that band too. I mean, their singer Nicholas and the drummer Snowy Shaw. He's been in a million bands. Like he's played for King Diamond and oh my goodness, what band was I watching recently? It was basically like a hired gun on the drums too. He's fantastic. And then Gus G playing guitar or lead guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually went on to play for Ozzy Osbourne, and Friedrich Nordstrom, who plays rhythm guitar and also produces the band too. And just it's like a who's who of metal guys in that band. So much talent in that band and good song. So yep.
Cool.
Very awesome. Let's see, Dudu, do you have any?
Yeah. I got a couple honorable mentions. Load, Metallica, good album. King Nothing, just love singing to that. Just good song. Another honorable mention for a feel good album would be White Christmas by Bing Crosby. Just put it on at Christmas time and it's Christmas. But for my number one, I'd probably have to say when I hear any songs by this guy off of any album, it just makes me happy, and that'd be Ernest Tubb, old country music singer. He was a big favorite of my grandfather's, and he was big in our family. So you hear, I remember my grandfather coming home from work and putting 8-track in an 8-track player and listening to it, and yeah, just makes me think of home and Warba, and so my number one album would probably be anything by Ernest Tubb.
Awesome. What was Grandpa's favorite Ernest Tubb song?
Well, Grandma's was Waltz Across Texas. I don't know if Grandpa had a favorite one, to tell you the truth.
What about you?
Me?
Mhm.
Let's say hello like we said goodbye. Good tune.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And we will go on to Bort. Do you have any honorable mentions before you go to number one?
The only thing I got is pro wrestling entrance theme music. We've had a lot of memories of those over the years, and many CDs have been released. And yeah, it would be a crime if I did not mention.
So, you got to throw out a couple of them. You got to just a few examples.
Yes.
Oh well, you got to go right away with the fabulous Rougeau brothers.
All American Boys.
I remember when that came out. Was it which one you got that like crystal clear version that somebody finally released?
I don't know. I remember listening to it with you when you were driving, and I just start going like this while you're driving. And you could barely stay on the road. You were laughing so hard.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's so much fun.
What about the American Males?
American Males.
Nasty Boys Stomp.
Mm-hmm.
Where they decided it was a good idea to have the Nasty Boys sing their theme song.
We are the Nasty Boys.
Legion of Doom, they had a good one.
Oh,
yeah. Ooh, that's a good idea for my next Jim Johnson cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty easy one to pull off. It just sounds like dun 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 dun.
What about the Orient Express?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I always love
this, of course.
Yep.
Yep.
I always love Mr. Perfect song.
Well, we'll lead right into that then with my number one. The greatest album of all time. I don't even know if it had a name, and it's been lost to time, but it was performed by Bob himself. Coconut, Coconut, Oatmeal Chocolate, and other hymns. That's what I'm calling it. Greatest album of all time, completely lost to time, but had such classic songs as Coconut, Coconut, Oatmeal Chocolate, or the song Dinner Table.
Mm-hmm.
What about Har 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 with the pickle jar?
That was you.
Was it me?
That was you.
I believe you inspired that.
Dinner Table was done to Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Man entrance theme, and then there was Cheese Balls, which was done to Mr. Perfect's theme music. You'd never forget the classic boxing glove and a banana.
Yes.
And then what was your sequel? What was your sequel to that song?
Big Drop Kick and a banana.
Tomato.
Okay, yep. Done to Chris Benoit's WCW entrance theme. Yep. And then the greatest song of them all, done in honor of the SWF's big act, The Fun People. We have the amazing song called The Fun Fun People.
Ooh. A lot of thought went into that one.
Bob, you want to sing a little bit of that one?
So it was pretty much to the fun whatever song from the
fun.
Yeah, and then I would throw in. So it was the Beach Boys, right?
Yeah, Beach Boys fun.
Yeah, that fun. So they'd be singing and they'd go, and we'll have fun. And then I would just jump into it and say, people, until my dad, fun, people, till my dad. And that was the whole song. And I just played the whole song, sat there with my recorder, and just threw people in when I had to, and that was
it. Nice.
I don't remember any of the other songs on the album, Bob. I know you had like a few more.
There was one where I just had all the posters of all the wrestlers on my wall, and I had Doink the Clown's music playing, and I went through and I said all the names to the wrestlers to Doink's theme song, and I'd throw little one-liners in there during it.
Good Doink or evil Doink?
Good Doink.
Oh, lame.
Yep, it was terrible.
Evil Doink had awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought I found the tape for that. Well, I did find the tape for it. One of them. I think I had 2 different tapes, and I found one of them about 6 months ago, and I put it in there, and I was going to listen to it, and I realized we recorded a Metallica concert over it. So I lost that, and I do not know where the original one to it is, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to find it.
And I think you had one other original song on there too, besides Coconut Oatmeal Chocolate.
Oh.
I don't remember that one as well, but I can still remember almost all of Coconut Oatmeal Chocolate's words.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what?
Words in there? Even the made up words?
Yep, D-Sage.
Desage. Yep. Did you? I think.
Desage of coconut.
Yep, that's the one.
It was coconut and oatmeal. Desaged of coconut. One day maybe I'll re-record that song.
Look it up in your thesaurus. Maybe it's in there.
Because he loved him. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you ever hear that, Doodoo?
It's okay. I'm good. I don't.
Oh, just we'll find it, or we'll recreate it. One of the two.
Yes.
I don't know if you'll ever be able to, because having your pre-puberty voice singing it is part of the charm of the song.
Well, also at the same time, there's so many bands that re-record their own albums like 30 years later. And nobody, especially the singers, seem to sound like they used to. Their voices usually get a bit deeper and a bit gravelier. And a lot of times they have to tune down the instruments a half step or so to just compensate for that. So in that spirit, I think it could be done.
Well, I have 2 sons. I'll also have them do it.
Idea too.
Well, Bort, I am honored. Thank you for having me your number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of disappointed my album hasn't been on here yet.
Give you crap, Bob, but you make good music.
Oh, thanks.
We gotta make like a lost media iceberg about it or something.
Oh. Yep. I wonder if there's a way you can send a tape to somebody and have them take the thing that was recorded off of it to get to the layer below it.
There is no way you still have that cassette tape.
Yeah, I buried somewhere in a box.
You really decided to cut out 90% of your life, and in that you decided to keep a cassette tape of a Metallica concert recorded over your childhood.
Yes, because I was wondering if there was ever be a way I could save it.
I think you'd be more likely to use your time travel episode to time travel back to get it.
That's just right. Once again, take the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, funny.
Take the thoughts out of my head, anyways. Goodness.
That's funny.
Getting suspicious.
That's because I went back in the past and knew what we were going to say already, and then I stole it before you could actually say it.
Yep. Yep. You're hiding your time travel secrets from us, but that's okay.
All right, Tippy, what's yours?
Okay, I had 2 honorable mentions just in case, you guys wanted to do more than 8, but my 2 are going to be Metallica Master of Puppets, or you could actually do any of the first 3 Metallica albums, and Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Because as a young metalhead, those were 4 albums I instantly latched onto, and when I was a young metalhead, I immediately went to the fundamentals, pretty much, and then like all those albums. Also, as a young guitar player too, just wanted to learn riffs off of just about every song. That you had on those first 3 classic Metallica albums, as well as most of the early Black Sabbath catalog. But Paranoid was pretty much the perfect album, and I think the first real true heavy metal album. So
Nice.
I agree with that.
Yep. And so my number 1 is going to be 1990s Painkiller by Judas Priest. Now, this album was the 80s are over. Heavy metal is just on the breaking point of being dead in the pop culture social consciousness, I guess you would say. As far as popular music goes, new styles are taking over with the stupid grunge movement and whatever other horrible music that came out of the 90s was. But, at that point, Judas Priest, they'd been around for about 20 years at the point. After Defenders of the Faith, they released some pretty mediocre albums. And 1986's Turbo was pretty abysmal. The entire thing was absolutely just a commercial wank fest, except for the guitar solos on that album. The guitar solos were absolutely amazing. But if you're
really think
kind of a true metalhead, that album just fell flat with you. And this is Rob Halford's last album before he quit the band and wanted to do something different. But at this point, they're getting up there in years at that point, and if they, they're kind of the old guys on the block, and if they wanted to show the young guys, hey, this is how a metal album should be made, they completely succeeded with that, because they pulled out all the stops of this album. Every single song is pretty much a rip snorter from beginning to end. Except for A Touch of Evil. That's kind of a slower paced, a bit more commercial song, but it's also very dark at the same time. But this one you got Painkiller, All Guns Blazing, Leather Rebel, A Metal Meltdown, Nightcrawler, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, and One Shot at Glory. Just I don't know, it almost falls between that line of it's too power metal to be thrash, but too thrash to be power metal, kind of like Iced Earth. And I've heard the term arena thrash used to describe this style of music. And I can find a lot of bands out there that actually do this type of style of music. One band would be a band from Australia called Dungeon, which is also worth checking out. Bob, you might like them.
Dungeon? Okay.
Dungeon. Yep. And
has there ever, sorry to interrupt you, but has there ever been a heavy rock band called Sunshine?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Everything's
sunshine in hell.
There's Sunshine. I don't know if there's a heavy rock band called Sunshine, but
okay. All right.
It's not all the realm of possibility.
Names are so darkly unique.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, that pretty much completes my list.
Very informative. I enjoy listening to you talk about music. Tippy, you're very, very informational.
Oh yeah, just got any questions? Let me know. I'm here all day. Not all night, but all day.
Well, I know he has been a huge influence in my music. Anything I listen to, a lot of it is because of him.
I've been listening to the crap out of Bastard Son of Odin. I know I said that a couple of weeks ago, but I still in the cab. I just drive around.
I know, it's so anthematic, and
Yeah.
for a song when that came out, like 2015 or so. I know I bought the album in 2016. I want to say it came out. I can't remember. It came out mid 2010s, but yeah, like when that keyboard line first gets, I remember the first episode of that. I was like, yes.
Yep.
This is what the people need.
Yep.
Well, dude, this was a fun podcast, man. Thank you.
Yep. Yes. Absolutely. Thank all you guys. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Does anybody have any closing words before we part ways?
No.
What? Salamander. All right.
Salamander of death.
I'll say newt.
Newt.
Which is kind of related to the salamander, but a little bit.
Death newt.
Flamingo.
Salamander newt, death newt, flamingo. Okay. Those are the lyrics to your Japanese bonus track once you the coconut oatmeal chocolate.
Okay.
Dung beetle on fire.
I don't think I've ever seen a more Minnesota goodbye than this right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and don't forget to go to your local Target or Walmart and buy my album. It'll be there soon.
It's in the S&M section.
Do they have CDs at Targets and Walmarts yet?
Oh, they will. They'll have mine. But I don't know.
Yeah, they'll have yours because nobody buys them anyways. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just gotta kind of sneak in and slip it in the back there, and somebody will find it.
Yeah. Fun. Well, thanks, Dick.
Okay, so with that, we will close out this section or this episode of the 26th episode of the Four Roads Out of Warba podcast starring the Warba Shot Quartet.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.